In this video, we are unboxing and taking a closer look at this GeForce GT 1030. This is a completely silent overclocked edition GPU because it has only passive cooling, which is one of the reasons why I wanted this. I am planning to put this in my main rig to power my secondary monitors, and because I have issues with my 5700 XT I had back when I made this video. Later in the year here, I switched to 2080 Super because I just kept having issues with AMD and the drivers and high power usage when I had multiple monitors. But yeah, you can see if you plan to use this as an office GPU, the capacitors should last for 40 years, 12 years if you are gaming. That's a bold statement, of course. There was no warranty for 40 years, but yeah, it is a fairly inexpensive, not really a gaming GPU. So in this video, I won't really benchmark any gaming, but let me know down in the comments if you wanted me to check some benchmark. It's also a low-profile GPU, so you also get a low-profile bracket here. So for those systems where you need a small, tiny, low-profile GPU, this is also excellent. And yeah, in the box, of course, you also receive a little instruction manual just to get you started and set it up. It is fairly decent, of course, in multiple languages. And you also get some nice illustrations of how to actually mount the GPU. Doesn't require any external power, so make sure that your PCI Express port can deliver. I believe it is 70 watt. It should be able to deliver. Some motherboards doesn't really deliver that much power. But anyways, let's just weigh this GPU. You can see 320 grams. So it's a fairly heavy GPU because of that big passive heatsink. I really like the design, and this is also one of the only, if not the only one, in this type of chipset that also has a display port, which is quite nice. And yeah, you can see that big heatsink right there. It is a rather thick heatsink, 35 millimeters, so 3.5 centimeters in depth, and including the bracket there, it is around 7 centimeters tall. So yeah, definitely quite a beefy little cooler there, and it actually runs fairly quiet. Oh, excuse me, not quiet, but cool as well. Doesn't overheat, at least not in my system, but of course you should have some airflow in your system for a GPU like this. So you have one HDMI, and you also have one display port, and you can display up to 4K, I believe, 60 FPS via HDMI as well. And of course you have that little low profile bracket there. You need to, of course, remove the old one. One of the screws is kind of in the way of the heatsink, so it can be a little tricky to get that little low profile bracket on there, but it definitely is doable. Of course, something you only really need to do once. There is no, of course, aluminum backplate on the back here or any fancy thing like that you get with the more expensive GPUs. And it is a PCI Express 3.0. Of course, doesn't really require all that much. You could probably run it just fine from PCI Express 2.0 times 16 slots, of course. So yeah, definitely a fine little GPU for just office work and some light gaming. Again, let me know down in the comments if you want me to test any specific games. Else, let's just try and install it in my system and run a benchmark. So, installed in my system. This is installed, of course, in the second PCI Express slot, because my main GPU, of course, needs to be in the first one up there. So that means it will run at PCI Express times 8. And my main GPU, which is a 5700 XT, will sit in the other bracket there. You can see it is a 2-slot card, so make sure you have room for it. And you can see now I've installed my 5700 XT. Did work quite well, connecting all my other monitors to the GeForce GPU, and of course the main monitor to my Red Devil 5700 XT. But I just have some issues with some applications crashing, and OBS used a lot of resources just to be open when I had 2 GPUs installed. Kind of weird. So yeah, I ended up just going, like I said, for the 2080 Super instead. And I have a 3080 Super, or 3080, excuse me, on order as well. But yeah, go and install DDU, Display Driver Uninstaller. And also, of course, if you have AMD, I recommend go and download their AMD Cleanup Utility. This little app here will also make it much easier to actually reboot into safe mode. you pretty much just download and it will prompt you to reboot into safe mode. So I always use this, even though I install NVIDIA drivers as well. It's just so easy, just clicking on that little application there and start into safe mode. So yeah, definitely run display driver uninstaller DDU as administrator, and then of course have it running in safe mode. But this is just for show here, and you need to select what kind of driver you want to uninstall. Of course, GPU, AMD, NVIDIA, and also Intel. You can uninstall, and you can choose whether you want to reboot, power down, or not do anything once drivers are uninstalled. But yeah, always do this, even though you're just switching out a GPU from same manufacturer. I definitely recommend just uninstall all the drivers and start from scratch. So yeah, that's definitely a great thing to do. So next up, of course, is going to NVIDIA's website, because this is an NVIDIA GPU, and of course go and download the drivers for this specific GPU. You probably just have to type in the specific model, but I've already been into this website, so of course it remembers my input here. But just fill out all of the different required fields here, and then of course it will show you a list of drivers. So you only can install game ready driver with this GPU here. You cannot install those studio drivers. You need a higher end GPU for that. This GPU does not have NVENC encoder, or whatever the decoder is called, from NVIDIA. So that's also a drawback with this one. So definitely not for streaming and stuff like that. And only for very casual gaming. I don't think I will recommend this for any type of first-person shooter game and stuff like that. But anyways, let's just try and run some Geekbench. First off, my 5700 XT, just for reference, and see what we can get in OpenGL score. You can see close to 70,000. OpenCL score 69,411. And let's of course run the same test here with the GT 1030. I've sped up the process 8 times, both the 5700 XT benchmark and of course this one here for the 1030. And you can see the OpenCL score 5,046 is just laughable compared to, again, the 5700 XT 69,411. So yeah, that's quite a higher score. So yeah, definitely not the fastest kid on the block. Let's just try and open or try to run CUDA benchmark. Sped up the process again 8 times here. And this GPU, for some reason, I cannot run Heaven benchmark or other benchmarks, because I cannot really select which GPU I want to use in those benchmarks. So that's why I'm only sticking with Geekbench. But again, if you want me to test specific games, let me know down in the comments, resolutions and such. But you can see here, 5,011 CUDA core score. Again, not really impressive. Pretty similar to the OpenCL score. And actually, while running all these benchmarks, of course, I ran it several times. You can see the maximum temperature I got here was 70 degrees. It hovers around the mid 60 degrees, at least in my case, with some front intake fan and of course exhaust fans as well. So it is fairly cool, I would say, and definitely have not been an issue yet. But I definitely recommend putting it in a case with some decent airflow, because yeah, it is a completely passive cool. So just have some kind of air movement over those heatsink there, or that heatsink is definitely going to help out quite a bit. So at the end of the day, I really like this little GPU. Obviously not the best in terms of gaming. Only had 2 GB of DDR memory as well. So yeah, you shouldn't really expect too much from this one here. You see a lot of flex in the main board there as well. So yeah, it's not really the highest quality construction, but if you want to have a computer running with next to no noise from active fans and such like stuff like that, you know, these cheap GPUs tend to have very loud fans. I definitely recommend getting something like this. And if you're only doing some very light gaming, this should also be okay. But if you are really your main concern is gaming, definitely go get a beefier CPU or GPU. That's definitely not this kind of GPU I would recommend for that kind of scenarios. But for office work and light gaming, definitely highly recommended. I think it's a great GPU. Of course, link down in the description if you want to check it out. Also hope to see you again in a future video. But that's been it for this one. Take care.